We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more.
I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show. And I'm so excited and proud today to be featuring one of our very successful female Land Academy members, Michelle Bridger. How are you, Michelle?
I'm wonderful. I'm so glad to be here, Jill. This is a delight.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. We have not, I don't think you and I have done this before, and I'm scratching my head going, why?
I'm glad to be here. This is really fun.
You know what I think it is? I think because you are so involved, and we'll talk about this more as we get into it. You are so involved in Land Academy and Career Path and Pro. You know, I do feel like we talk a lot every week, which is awesome. So I get to spend time with you. So today is about everybody else getting to spend a little time with you and hear about the deals that you're doing and what we all have going on here. So this is going to be really fun. Hey.
Right.
So let's start. I mean, if you would give us some of your background. Everybody, you know, I'm sure a lot of people joining in are like, okay, wait a minute, hold on a moment. We've got not only a really rock star, successful Land Academy member, but hey, it's a female, and you are driving this whole thing yourself. So please give us some of your story, you know, even up to land investing, and then how you got to us, please.
Okay. So for so long, I was a stay-at-home mom and I homeschooled my kids. And then life took one of those turns that you would never wish for. So I was divorced in 2012. And so I needed a plan. I needed it in a hurry, and I needed an income from home. And so I did start a business while still raising my kids and still homeschooling them. And so I started a business that really took off quickly. And that was successful and still is, like, it's still going well. But it got to a point in 2020 where I could really read the handwriting on the wall of that niche, that things were really changing, and I needed a plan B, and I needed another source of income so that I wasn't just relying on that business, though it was successful, as the primary source of income, that I had a plan B. And so I started to really diligently look around. For a long time, it was just like noodling in the back of my mind, like, what about that? Or what about that? But finally, it got to a week where my son and I were going to go on vacation, and he had to cancel on me. And so I'm like, okay, I have this week off. I am going to figure out the plan B. And that was December of 2020. And so I just looked into all kinds of different things and finally came across land flipping. And when I landed on it, I'm like, I've always been really interested in real estate, but I knew I couldn't flip houses because I just didn't have any expertise in that. And so this land flipping, like, you buy land that has no improvements, you sell it with no improvements. I can do that.
Right.
And so I just jumped right in, and both feet, and just when I start something, it's all in. And so I was really successful at that. And I took a program about how to do it on terms. And so I sold well over 160 properties and really did it well. But I got to a point where I just really was stagnating, and I was really having a hard time figuring out how to scale. And people weren't really able to give me good answers about how to scale further, how to really keep the trajectory going up. And I was also kind of bored with it. I was buying in the same county, the same kind of properties, and I knew what zip codes, I knew what kind of property, I knew exactly what I was looking for, but it was like, yeah, I mean, I still love land, but it didn't hold any zest anymore. And so I came across Land Academy. A friend of mine told me about it. And so I jumped in, and I was like, this is it. I checked it out, and I just love that you guys, the specific detailed training that you guys had, and it held the strong promise for me of being able to scale and being able to really up my expertise, like, whew. And that was exciting to me because I love to learn, and I want to keep doing whatever I'm doing. I want to keep doing it better and better and be at the top of my field. And so I'm at the 1 year mark because I joined Land Academy. Yes, I joined
Isn't it
Land
amazing? It feels like it's been longer. I'm like, we've all spent so much time together. I'm like, it's only been a year. This is so cool.
So it's been quite a year for me
Yeah.
of really up leveling. It's because it's like a different business. I run them differently. And so it's been like running a different business, but I'm so pleased with my results and really able to scale. So you were the answer to scaling that I was looking for. Yeah, I'm not bored anymore
Good.
by any stretch of the imagination. Every
I gotta
deal is
ask,
different.
when you had all those terms properties, like how many hours a week was this taking versus now? I imagine it's very different.
It is very different. So really it's kind of hard because I'm still running the big business that I had. And so I had a team, so it's a little hard to quantitate them, but it's now my profit per deal is so much higher, so much higher. And so the excitement level is so much greater, like, woo, look at that. Look at what I just did. So that makes it fun. And um, um, so so revenue and profit per deal have really gone up. And then the expertise and learning from you guys has just been remarkable.
What was your average like? Was it like a buy for, 10, 15,000, sell it on, do seller financing for like 25 or 30, and then do like 250 a month, or like what did that used to look like?
Less than that. So I
Okay.
would buy it either from the landowner, or I'd buy it on wholesale for 3,000 to 3,500, maybe at most 3,800. And then I'd sell it. And over a 5 year terms, I'd make 12,000 at most, maybe 11 to 12,000.
Got it.
So that's the profits, though I did have passive income coming in. This is more exciting and this is more scalable.
Yeah. And then now, like, what's a typical deal for you right now?
So I'm averaging 24,000, which this is something in the next
In 1 year.
looking to increase my profit per deal. But right now, when I looked at all of my deals, and some of them were too small that I'd never do again, and some of them were just exactly where I wanted to be, which is $50,000 per deal. I had 4 of those in the last year, so that was sweet. And those sold really fast. So
Isn't it
I
amazing?
bought one of them, I bought for 20 and I sold for 74,000 in 7 days and had multiple bids on it. It was just glorious.
Like, what
Glorious.
just happened? And you just
Oh,
did it
it's
4 times.
so
People are like, that's a home run. I'll never happen again. No, yeah, just hang in there.
It did happen several times, happened 4 times this last year. So I just want to keep repeating that. I've learned about the deals not to do. So being in your world and learning from you and Jack and Sam and Carl, it's been so helpful to learn what not to do. An example of that was that just on the advance call just recently, I brought a property to you guys that was both commercial and residential. That's how it was zoned. It was right in town, but only about 2 acres of the 7 were buildable. And you and Jack both said, nope, walk. I'm like, okay, that's all I needed to hear. And so no, I haven't got caught in a property that I haven't been able to sell or really had to agonize over, because I've learned well, and it's still a process, but what to say no to. And that's been so helpful.
That's so good. That's hard sometimes. And um, what do you think it is for you? Like, I have my guess on how you're easy to say no, but what do you think it is that the one piece that makes it okay to go, you know what? There's going to be another letter, but there's going to be another deal.
Oh,
I'm
a big
like,
one is profit.
what
Yeah,
is
if
it?
profit. So
Okay,
big deal about saying no is profit.
there you go.
That's a huge one. If it doesn't have the margins that I want, I'm just so happy to just say, nope, no,
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the risk
that's
that
it.
let's say the profit was only 10,000. that's too small, because if the market changes and then I have to lower the price, I've never, in all of the deals that I've done, I've never lost money on a deal, and I don't want that to change. So that's another one is the buyer pool so small? So one of the properties that came in last week was 8 acres, but you had to take a 4-wheel drive trail road, but narrow, and a 4-wheel drive trail. Well, though it had access, the buyer pool is so small that, man, I'd have to buy that one for so low and sell it for low that I want a large, you guys have taught me, have a really large buyer pool. Like, oh, they could be a hunter, they could want to build on it, but it's gotta have a big buyer pool. So if it doesn't have that, I'm willing to walk from it.
Yeah.
If there's any county wetland issues that are kind of sketchy, like maybe you can build on it, we hope you can build on it, we don't know. Yeah, like if there's anything sketchy like that, it's just not worth the risk and the headache and the potential train wreck that it could be. So that's one that I'll walk from too.
Isn't that funny? I'm so excited to hear you talk like that, because there's so many people, who we all know them, that like sometimes they're trying to find a deal that it may not necessarily be there. They don't have the volume. I know that you are so good about that too, is sending out a lot of offers. So you have a lot of deals coming at you. So you can pick the best, and you can afford to go, yeah, I'm not, you're buy for 20, sell for 75. If you did something wrong, you sold it for 65, I think we're okay. Even at 55, I think we're okay. Like you just said, out of a lot of you need more than 10,000 or something. If things go sideways, you do something that you're still going to make money, and it's still going to be a great deal. So I love that. And you're in 7 days. When that happens, I get in trouble sometimes. If it sells too fast, Jack's like, okay, you should have asked more money. I'm like, I didn't know. So have you second guessed yourself like that too? Like, shoot, maybe I sold it too fast.
Yeah, sometimes, but mostly I'm just really happy for the sale. Like, yes. But yeah, sometimes it's like, ooh, we could have priced that one higher, but I'm still so happy to have them sell and sell fast. And that kind of margin is just, oh, it's just magical. Like, it's just so cool when you make a lot on a property and you can do it quickly. Then, and that you did it, that I knew that from start to finish, I bought it right, I sold it right, I watched my margins. It was a good property, and just mailed, from start to finish, things went right. And so that's what makes it so great.
How often now, like percentage wise, do you know the first minute that you're looking at it and doing your due diligence time, like you're looking at the 10 that came in yesterday, how quickly now are you like, oh, I know that one's good?
Really fast. And so
Okay.
that's remarkable. So one came in last week, and actually I was feeling discouraged, like there isn't much of my intake. I'm discouraged. And so this lady called at 6 p.m. and I took the call, and this was a property that she had bought when she was single, and she's had it for 20 years. It's 5 acres in a subdivision, great property, beautiful views, nice neighborhood, and not far from town. And I'm like, and I hear what my offer price was, and I'm like, okay, this is sounding good. And so just then I get off the call from her, I get everything, I look it up. Yep, we're golden. And so within, an hour, I had the purchase agreement back out to her, asking her to sign it. She signed it. In every way, we were ready to go, and it was in escrow by 9 a.m. the next morning. And so that's just amazing. In fact, a comparison is when I was doing terms properties, I bought 2 properties from a gentleman that lived in California. And so we had sort of a friendship over the phone. And so then he called me. This was right before I did Land Academy, like weeks before that. And he said, will you please buy these other 5 properties that I have in California? I didn't know how to evaluate them. I had no basis whatsoever. So I agonized over them for hours and finally just said no, because I simply had no idea how to evaluate them. So I do Land Academy, and probably last fall, he calls me back and literally is like begging me, please buy these properties from me. But now I have the A's. I know how to evaluate a property because of being through Land Academy. And so I know that it's alive, acres, adjacent, affordable, attraction. I have to look, access. And so and then two more, abundance and afraid now. And so I pull up these properties again just to be nice to him. And I'm like, nope, no, no, no.
That's so funny. You're
Now
like, you made a good decision back then.
and so now I had the expertise and the structure to be able to quickly evaluate the properties. And now I knew why I was saying no. And that's something that the expertise that Land Academy's given me.
I'm so happy. That is so amazing. I'm thinking about the woman that you just did the deal with and it went so quick and so easy. How much of that do you think is because you are a woman, that she just felt so comfortable with you?
I hadn't thought about that.
Oh,
I think
and you know
when
your stuff.
yeah, I think that being a woman plays a role in building rapport.
Yeah.
And I don't know to what extent, but a lot of the women, especially, if a widow calls in or an older woman, there was one woman that called in recently. I'm trying to remember all the call, but she was like, and we just can't hardly figure out this tech. And I said, well, yeah, I'm 60, and I just gave away my age, but I still have trouble with it too. But I was able to joke with her as a woman, as an I can't use the word older, but able to build rapport in that way.
Experienced.
There you go. And able to just build rapport in that way with her to be able to do that. So I do hope that it is helpful. And yeah.
Well, you also have a confidence. You know what? And this is a thing that I think that is, for whatever reason, although I'm comparing to Jack, and then in Land Academy, there's a lot of Jacks, a lot of the Enneagram 8s. I forgot, what are you, Michelle?
I'm a 3, the achiever.
Okay, love that. Okay, good. And I'm a 7, if you couldn't tell. Everybody could probably, like, yeah, we see that. So, but there's a lot of 8s, and they don't have, boy, do they have the confidence, but they don't really necessarily have the patience to always talk to sellers like we do. And I think being a woman, we both naturally have a little bit of a leg up, that our voices are a little softer, a little bit easier to talk to on the phone. And I bet, just like they were with me, and they have been over the years talking to you, it's kind of cool when you can say, no, I'm the owner. You and I are making this deal. How well does that come across, and what's your experience there?
Well, I believe and I hope that it helps to really, because people, they have good reason to not trust. They are afraid that this is a scam. And so my voice being softer and being female, I hope dissuades some of that. I've had to talk lots of people down from that and just have a good conversation and show up with expertise and firmness and kindness to be able to dispel their fears about it being a scam. So, in fact, one seller last week, my assistant answered the phone and he wouldn't even give his name. She could barely get out from him that he wanted 50,000 for the property, and he gave the reference number. And so then she looked it up, she sent it to me, and she said, he's really gruff. Can you just beware?
Yeah, heads up.
And so he's just like, is this a scam? And I've never even been to the property. And but I was able to really calm him down and really able to get out from him that he really had no idea what the property was worth.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. And so then I was able to talk to him about it and get a realtor out there, and then, have another conversation with him. So,
how's it going? Are you guys still talking, or have you guys?
yeah, I have an appointment to talk to him tomorrow, and he has another property in Florida that I'm really interested in as well. So tomorrow is the wrap up conversation, and I'm hopeful.
This is great. So if you can lock up the two properties and just give him one number and he can, in his head, divide up however he thinks I'm getting that one for 25 and that one for 25. There's your 50. You know, everybody will win.
There you
So
go.
that's great. I love this. So, tell me about like how much mail are you sending out right now out of curiosity?
Averaging just a little over 10,000 per month.
Cool. Do you drop them all at once or do you do it in like every 2 weeks or how often do you do them?
It ends up being about 2,500 per month, but it isn't evenly cut up. It depends on the county and how much mail that is. But it does end up to be just a little over 10,000 per month, which is something that I want to change to, is to really ramp that up for the rest of the year and be able to come out much stronger. So that's something that I'm working on, as well as increasing that number.
That's great. Okay, so when you came in it was last summer, right? Pretty much. And then you were in career path right away in the fall. And then
In April.
in April, okay, got it. So you came in, then April did career path. I'm like, it's all a blur. Um, what what did you get like how much traction did you get just starting Land Academy, or was it career path? Did you just kind of do everything all at the same time? Was that like your first mailer and everything during career path?
It was actually right before then. So I started, and then within a week, I realized that you guys had something called Career Path. And so I got on the phone and learned more about it. But I really like when I'm starting something new to have accountability, because had I not had Career Path, I might still be saying that Land Academy thing, I really should mail. I really should get going on that. But having Career Path, starting that right away, I mailed 10,000 letters right before Career Path. So they were landing the week that Career Path was starting. So I had lots of deals for you guys to give me input on, and lots of things happening right away. I was taking tons of calls, and that really gave me a leg up to get started in a big way. And then going through Career Path, I had the help to quickly be able to evaluate these. This is bad, this is good. And because I had an abundance of things coming in, and I was able to be like the ones that aren't any good, they just sort of like fall away, and they just like, they're no longer of interest. And then the good ones rise to the top, and then you can make quick decisions on those. So it was so helpful to have Career Path right away and be able to get that leg up of expertise and help.
I love that. No, so when you finished career path, had we launched Land Academy Pro at that point, or were we just talking about it? Because you got right into that.
Yeah, I did. You had just launched it.
That's
You launched
perfect.
it during
This was
that.
perfect timing for you.
It was
Okay.
so helpful too, so that I had the help of office hours, the continued help to be able to figure out, nope, that's a bad one. Don't do that. That's a bad one. That's a bad one. And be able to like have the good ones rise to the top and quickly make decisions, because there's just so many decisions. And then also have help from your transaction coordinator. So that's been just so helpful, that I can really focus on the business, and I'm not having to weed through problems and stay on top of escrow at the same time. So managing a business, staying on top of the properties going through escrow would just be a lot more. It's so helpful to just be like, here you go here's this one in escrow, here's this one in escrow. So that's been really helpful. And there have been not a lot, but a couple of really significant problems where I just wouldn't have had the expertise to know what to do. One time we had an escrow manager or someone in the office that just was not moving things forward. And so your transaction coordinator was able to just get on the phone with the attorney and say, we just need to work with you. This just simply is not working, and we have to have a solution to close quickly. And
my team went above somebody else's head to get your deal done.
Exactly. Yes. Good. Yeah.
They're good about that.
Yeah, it worked well. Yeah. So It's been so helpful all the way around. In fact, in a story was that in one of those office hours, I had a 3.3 acre commercial property that I was so excited. I had just gotten the purchase agreement. The seller wanted to do things through mail, so it had literally just come in the mailbox. I'm pointing to my mailbox out there. And I just walked into office hours, and I was so happy. I finally had this. I had talked him down to 58,000. I was like really excited about it. And you said, well, pull it up. And I did. And within like a minute, you're like, no, don't do it. Look at this. And
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, oh, I thought I had done everything in due diligence.
Oh,
And so had I not had office hours and help, I would still be sitting on that property because it had a significant problem to it. And I'd still be like, dang, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
sometimes I feel bad. People are like, you guys are honest. I'm like, I can't help it. I want to save you. I want you to be successful too. And so, yep. Wow, this is so good. I'm sure you're asked. I know you know that now. The ones that you bring up to us, like in office hours or on our Thursday member calls, they're like, now you're on the fence. I can tell you're like, I think I'm pretty sure about it. Let's see what you guys think. So
Mhm.
it is
Yeah.
it's so good. So were you always this way? Were you always like, whatever I'm going to do, out of my way, I'm going at this 110%? Is it nature or
Yes.
nurture?
I'd say nature.
Okay.
There isn't any entrepreneurial background in my family history. So
Oh.
I just say it's all nature. And
What does your
when
family think and your friends? Are they still scratching their head going, like, do they even understand what you're doing?
generally not,
There you go.
generally not. And yeah, it's kind of mind blowing when like, well, I'm trying to make a $50,000 decision today.
Yeah.
Or within 10 minutes, I was able to make this quick decision, or and sometimes you can't share it with everybody like, hey, I just made a $50,000 profit. Like,
Yeah.
so but they're super supportive and, that they're kind, and it's such a gift to be an entrepreneur and to be able to make decisions as a woman for myself and be able to make decisions about scale and make decisions about my time
Mm-hmm.
and um, work around the schedules to have lunch with my kiddo or have do this or do that or I take Friday afternoons off for pickleball and so but I also work really really hard and put in really long hours, but it's such a gift to be able to make decisions and run a business and be able to really scale that as I'd like.
How much have your um, short-term and long-term financial goals changed in the last year? Like, do you keep upping your numbers now?
I do. It's
Yeah.
really amazing what's possible.
Yeah.
There's just when you have the skills to know the county research to do and what the margins that you're looking for when you buy property, what
Right.
makes a good acquisition as a property. So you have this skill set to be able to make quick decisions.
Yeah.
Then you can look at, okay, so this is what I need to do more of them.
Yeah.
And so my goals have changed and my goals are higher. And as we like to say, just add a zero. So my goals are bigger. And now looking for how can I do it better and who needs to be on my team to
Right.
do it better. And then also how can I do it better and not work more? That's a big one for me as well. So I'm wanting to do it bigger, better, but not with any more work.
There you go. What kind of routine do you have? Like, so you have your Friday afternoons off. Like I'm sincerely curious too, like, you know, do you have in-house answering your phone? How often are you jumping in there? Like, what's your week like?
So one thing that's been super helpful is that I always get up at 4:45, and by 5:30 to 8:30 every single morning from Monday through Friday, without fail, I'm diving into the data. So normally I'm pricing a mailer for those first 3 hours, but sometimes it's county research. But without fail, it's always about getting a mailer out. And so that's really, without that, I would be derailed by the day. It'd be like, oh darn, it's 4 p.m. and I didn't work on getting a mailer out, and so I know that I need that time. But then at 8:30, I'm headed to the gym, and because I'm like, oh, I need a break because data is my weak point. But that consistency has really, really helped me to get mailers out the door. And if I don't get a mailer out, my business won't be fed and the business will starve. And I'm very clear on that. You also asked me about, I'm sorry, you asked me something else about my schedule.
Like your staff, like how many people and what do you have helping you?
So I have one full-time VA, and she works like from 7 to 2, and she knows the entire business from start to finish, and she's amazing. I don't know where to be without her. So she's amazing. I also have about 3 or 4 other VAs that have very specific rules and things that they do. And we all have work in a project management system. People have tasks, repeating tasks. They know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And just looking at how to do that, but, even better, like, where are my gaps? How can I better train them? How can I better train? There's a VA that helps me in intake, and she's amazing at pulling deeds and all these different things, so that then if we just say, oh, this one came in the mail, set it up, then all I have to do is review it, and they know to, give me the details, and then make a summary for me, and then I can take a look at it quickly and make decisions from there.
Love that. I love what you said too about it starts with the mail. It really does. Because if you start and like I'm just thinking, okay, so you're up at 4:45, got that. I'm impressed. And then you're at the gym. So you're home by 10 a.m. You've had a full day and a workout. I mean, that's awesome. You really did get all the rough stuff out of the way. I would almost say I'm done working at 10 a.m. kind of thing. And then maybe 2 days a week, I'll look at the deals, pick the best ones, and then, hey, give them to Landicat, give them to Pro. They'll get them closed for you. There you go. So that's good. But that mail, boy, if you can just come at it, if anyone listening, like what's this, I would love to hear what you think, Michelle, too. Like, what do you think is the secret? But for me, I think you just nailed it right there. If you don't push to get this mail out and get these offers coming in, everything will fail. You can't do anything unless you have transactions. And how do I have transactions? I got to get the offers in the hands of these property owners. And every day, I know that you're looking at data, you're looking at new areas, you're probably looking at like, oh my gosh, we did so well over here. Let me see if I can go get more of those, kind of thing. And making your pricing and your picking, always better, always improving. And then the rest just falls into place. I think you don't even realize it, because especially like you're doing, when you have 10,000 a month and looking to do more, that's that's a faucet, and of stuff coming at you that, just you're never worried about it.
Right. And if I were to stop and get behind, like,
Yeah.
oh, I only sent out 2,000 this month. Well, all of a sudden there's just no deal flow whatsoever. And I'd really have a lag time to get the machine up and running again. And so I'm going on vacation in June for a week, and I'm already thinking, okay, so I got to have all this front loaded so that I don't even want the mail to hit that week. And so I got to have things way front loaded so that that week the mail isn't hitting and things like that. But I do have you ask about who's taking my calls. So I have an answering service, but I really don't want things to run to them. It would only be if I were traveling and my assistant couldn't take calls. So first, on Mondays, I take calls because she can't, but then the rest of the week she's working about half days and she takes the calls. So it's between her and I that we're taking the calls. And if all else fails, and on Sundays, the calls do go to the answering service. But that's a
Cool.
last ditch effort.
I like it. Do you like taking the calls?
I do. So sometimes they're time consuming, but I actually do. I do enjoy talking to the sellers, especially, if it's going well and getting their information, hearing the
Right.
story on the property. I do like it.
That's cool. Yeah, especially when I hit a new area, because then I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on. Especially when the call comes back, and they say everything's great except for the price. I'm like, all right, what am I missing? Because there might be something that I couldn't pick up on data that's moving into the area. Who knows? Kind of thing. We're moving the airport. There's a new I don't know. Could be something coming, and I like getting that. And then often there's not, but sometimes there is. So I like to and just get to know the people. It's so interesting. I'm sure you found this too in different counties and different regions. And I hate to pick on LA County, but boy, those people know everything. Like they're into their real estate, just whatever. And then the guy you talked to, a week or two ago, he's like, he doesn't know how to value it. He doesn't even know what it's worth. You have all that range. So it's kind of fun to see, okay, what's this crowd like? You know, that's so good. So what are you working on? How many states are you in right now? Do you focus on a state at a time, or do you have like three going at the same time?
Oh gosh, I have three. I'm
Cool.
counting in my head. So I probably have like actually four. And
Nice.
what I look for is, do I have a team already? So there's a state where I have a realtor that I love and a title company that I love, and I love the land. Really, I know you guys love the desert, but when I look at West Texas or desert areas like Las Vegas, it's just like I could meal there, but it just would like make me cringe. I love big trees, I love green grass, I love rolling hills. And so if I'm gonna look at land online, I gotta look at it, land that I
Yeah.
love. And so
It's
it
true. There's
has.
times you're like, I don't get it. I just don't see it. Everybody wants this product. I don't know why, but I'm doing it. So it's sometimes, yeah, the numbers speak themselves. Like, okay, that's
So
good.
I'm looking for where I can have a team. Where have I had success? And one of these areas was, it was a neat story. So I mailed to this area, and a guy sent in his purchase agreement by mail, but then he ghosted me. And so I tried and tried and tried and tried to get a hold of him, and he wasn't responding. And so I just put it into my project management system to reach out to him in about 3 months. And so then at the 3 month mark, I sent him an email. The email subject line said, cash offer for your property. And he opened it and he said, yes, but it has to be quick. And he actually came down in price. So originally I offered 26,000. Then when the first time he sent in the purchase agreement, he said, yeah, but you got to make it 40. And I was probably would have gone up that high, but when he answered the email, he said 30. Cool. So, and we closed that one fast within 10 days because we have a rock star title company there. And I sold that one in 7 days I bought it for 30 and sold it for 80. So that was way
I
cool.
love.
Way
And that's the
cool.
best yeah, then I'll hang out in that county for a while. I've got the
I
title
love it.
people, they hang on, they have my docs. I don't have to go through all that every time. We know how to communicate, we know how fast it can go. And then now I'm assuming you're doing like I'm doing, you're using brokers, so you're not even taking pictures or dealing with any of that. So
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
I love that. Have you had the conversation with any brokers yet? Like, hey, what else should I buy? Like, we were
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
doing some deals together. Tell me what else I should queue up for you.
Yes. When I find a real estate agent that's on top of their game and we're
Yeah.
communicating well, I did that just recently. In fact, I sent a text back to a realtor where he had sent me some properties with a really motivated seller. And so I evaluated those, and he and I were going back in text. So I sent him a text this morning. So I'm really cultivating those relationships. So when I find a great realtor that I like, I want them and I to be on the same page for more properties.
That's so great. I mean, and that's a dream for them too, you know. I love having agents, brokers that I'm like you become friends with them, you know, and it's fun. Like, okay, I think I'm getting an offer on this one. Stand by. I'm like, I'm right here. Yeah, I'll leave the dinner table if you call me. They're like, okay, give me a minute. You know, it's so fun. It's good. Oh, so what about offer prices now? What's your sweet spot? Are you still creeping up trying to find your ceiling? There is no ceiling, but what
So
are you
in
working
terms
on?
of my margins, is that what you mean? Like what kind of
Yeah. Like,
looking for?
were you ever uncomfortable buying for well, like you were talking about buying for 3,000 back in the day. Was it hard for you to go, now I'm buying for 50?
A little bit,
Okay.
yes. Because then that involves at some points involves an investor. And so there's more at stake than just my own money, but other people's. So that does make me a little bit nervous, but I'm still all in. And that's so what I'd like to be buying and am buying is properties in the 30,000 to 45. So 25 to 45,000, even up to 50, even up to 60 if it's a good property. So it just all has to do with the property, but I'm definitely not looking for buy for 10, sell for 15, not ever. I just walk
Right.
from those. So I'm definitely looking to up the value and to
Good.
have at least $25,000 in profit on a property and hopefully more.
I'm glad. So what's anything so hey, if you don't what are you going to be in the country without sharing where you're going in June? Are you going to be in the country or out of the country?
Oh, in the country. So I'll share. I'm going to
Okay.
Maine. I've never been to
Oh,
Maine before, and so I'm traveling to Maine and going along the coastline. And so I'm really excited about it to go to a new area I've never been to
oh.
before. So
Do you
that'll
do
be
what we do and you're like there while you're there, you can't help but kind of like pay attention to what's going on? Like, hey,
oh
that
yeah.
just sold for okay, Cap.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always have my eye open for what's happening in that area. Yeah.
It's scary. We were somewhere the other day. I don't know if it was on our Thursday call or it could have been just Jack and I in passing talking about something, but he's like, what do you think that's selling for? I'm like, 190. And I'm like, holy moly, it was 190. I'm like, like 189 or something. I'm like, I'm starting to scare myself a little bit. Like,
Wow.
I don't even know how I did that. Kind of thing.
Wow.
That
Amazing.
was funny. Cool. Are you loving getting into new property types and commercial property and things like that? Does anything scare you?
So anything scare me? Yes.
Oh,
It scares me to get a property that I would have trouble selling. So it just has to do with, excuse me, sorry, just a second, I'll get a drink.
sure.
Hmm. It still scares me to get a property that I would have to hold on to for a long period of time that I paid a significant amount of money. So that still scares me. And so there's in our project management system, we have a whole checklist of where I'm very rigorous and try and be like over the top with our due diligence. Did we check all of these boxes? It does not go to escrow until all of these things have been looked up and we've checked everything that we possibly can. We call the county, we make sure that it's buildable. There's no surprises. So that still
Right.
scares me that I would get into a property that would have a problem that I wasn't aware of. But I feel like I have a great foundation and I just still still keep moving forward. I want to continue to do what I'm doing it better and doing it more of it. So keeping with great margins, and just do more of them. I just want to do more deals more quickly,
love
more
that.
easily, and do more of them.
I love that. The only thing that I'm sure you've noticed is too, there's times that, you know, I'll be picky. You and I can afford to be picky because we have no trouble with deal flow. So there's times I've gone, I'm probably leaving money on the table, but you know what? I'd rather be picky and then I don't worry about it. Like, and if that's just the way it goes. Have you had that conversation with yourself? Like, yeah.
Lots of times.
Yeah.
Lots of times. There was a great property that I was really interested in, but it had about a $2 million mansion that was adjacent to it. Beautiful area near a ski resort. Everything was great about it, but the entrance was through a wetlands, and that wetlands area was through a guy who was known in town that like he's going to be there, and his whole area was really sketchy, like just buildings and outbuildings all over the place and old cars and things like that. So no one was going to come in and build their multi-million-dollar mansion right on this incredibly beautiful property. So
Exactly.
I just am being really, that one, I gave her a very low ball offer that she just laughed at, but it was okay. It was okay. I did not want to get stuck with a property that was going to be hard to sell. And it just, I've learned to just say next. And if I make a mistake, I want to make it on the side of airing that I was extra careful and that I didn't have a low volume, and I made a poor choice to bring in a property that was going to be hard to sell.
Yeah. So it was good enough that you threw out a number. You didn't just say no, thank you, but you had boy, if she says yes to this one, I can do it.
Exactly. It was, yeah. She had it had been listed for, I think, 200,000. And then but it didn't move at all.
Got
And
it.
so then, yeah. And so then it got down to the low 100,000s is what she wanted, but I gave her a $20,000 offer. And
I
can you
love
believe
that.
it? She said no.
You know what? And what's scary is give it 6 months. She might be calling you back. Like the guy who went from 50 or 40 down to 30, kind of thing. Things change. So, and you don't, we've all done that. That's one of the things when people are kind of trying to wrap their heads around what we're doing. I'm like, let's all think about this. Think about all the stuff in your life. Like, most people you think garage, like, yeah, people can have this stuff sometimes, you know, it's a little bit like that, yet, they're still feeling good about it. Everybody's, you know, getting a good price, and we're solving a problem
Mhm.
for every seller. Every person, I'm sure you've experienced this too. We agree on a number. I'm not talking them into it. I'm not wearing them down. I'm sure you're not too. It's just like, hey, this is a situation. This is the number, makes sense to me. And then it's on them to go, you know what? I do need that 20 grand. I do need that 30 grand. You know what? Let's just do it. And then after they get to know you and you're following through everything that we tell them, we are those people. We're going to close on this day. Here's how you reach me. If you have any questions, you just make it so easy for them. By the end of the transaction, they're, kind of hugging you on the phone, like, thank you, Michelle. I'm sure you've got that too, and watch them come back. They'll tell people. You might be, hey, you sold something to you brought something from my brother-in-law. I've got this. Are you interested? It's nice and sweet how that goes forward. I feel really good about what we do, and I love it. And it sounds like you do too. So can you imagine doing anything else right now?
No, I really do love land, and I really do love the challenges that this holds because every property is different.
Yeah.
It's not just, and at least in the areas that I'm working in, it's very much a challenge to quickly evaluate properties, and I really do love it. So I can't imagine doing something else. This is fun.
I'm so glad. And I'm so excited. So if anybody doesn't know, we have our own ladies group. So Michelle did Land Academy and Career Path, and now she's in Land Academy Pro, which is a service that we offer after Career Path, where basically Michelle gets to use my team, my transaction coordinator team, and my team that's pulling our data and keep getting a lot of the basics down for Jack, the mundane scrubbing part and stuff for Jack to come in and price it and all that good stuff. So Michelle has access to that too. And I'm working on more things this year too, especially for the landladies out there. Cause I love, there's more, have you noticed there's more of us coming in, and I'm so excited. So word's getting out.
Yes.
At least in our
Wonderful.
little niche. I
Yeah.
love that.
And you're really listening to how to support women, because whether single or married, just we think differently. We need our own support, because having community is so important. It's been so essential to me to have the community of Discord and to build friendships and to be able to run things by one another. So it's been so beneficial to me.
I'm so glad. I'm going to meet actually in about a half hour. I have a meeting today to get some stuff on our calendar. And one of them is some kind of a female investor focused live event. So you, Michelle, officially are the first person that I'm like, we gotta get some dates here and get that going. I don't know how big or what all it's gonna be, but we're gonna do something this year, because I've got a lot more planned to help other female investors and everyone who's interested in Land Academy. So thank you so much, Michelle Bridger, for joining me today and sharing your experience. And I'm so happy and excited and just impressed at how you have taken this and made it your own. And gosh, just went at it, but you just put your head down. Sounds like it's nature for you also. You're like, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And I love that. And I'm so glad that you're a part of all this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful for all the support, and it's just a delightful conversation. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you. And I'll be talking to you tomorrow when we get together for our pro call. Good. Thanks. I'm just going to let my team do some kind of we'll do some kind of an extra there. So thank you. That was fun. I love that. I want to start talking live, because often, we start talking before a podcast. I'm like, shoot, that was all the good stuff.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate it, Jill. I really felt honored that you had me on, and really love supporting you guys because of the support that I've gotten from you guys. And all of that is true. I just am so grateful that I've been able to upscale my revenue, my profits, and my expertise. So thank you for all that you guys have done.
Thank you for being so vocal. I love when you're there. I know that you're going to jump in and you're going to ask questions and offer help to people too. And I just want you to know, I really do appreciate that. Good.
You're so very good.
All right.
Right.
Well, have a good rest of your day and rest of your week, and I will catch up with you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jill.
Thanks.
All right,
bye. We hope you found our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.